Trail Kreitzer at goHUNT, doing another commonly asked questions for another state, which today we have Nevada. Try your luck in Nevada, right? You want to go do some gambling, you might as well gamble on trying to draw some tags in Nevada, which is kind of how I look at applying in Nevada. And I'm going to touch more on that here in a minute. One thing I do want to note before I get started is that we are running a promotion. If you check out the description below, you will see we have a promo code. You can use that to sign up for the goHUNT Insider, which is that research platform that we have. It is a phenomenal research platform if you want to hunt the West for big game. It's a must-have. You can find all kinds of opportunities. You're going to be able to take everything that I talk about today and apply that to every state and find an opportunity to go hunting in 2021. 2020 sucked, we all know it. Let's plan for 2021 and let's have some really killer, kick-ass hunts in 2021. All right, so I'm gonna jump in. The first one, do I have to have a hunting license to apply in Nevada? This is one of those states where you do have to have an initial investment in order to then apply and build points. Nevada's a state that you have to do that. So for $155, you're gonna get yourself a non-resident hunting license. You have to buy that. Then you can apply for the various species that are offered in Nevada. You're also going to pay a minimal application fee per species. All in, if you're a non-resident and you want to apply in Nevada for all the various species, it's going to cost you about 220 bucks, give or take a couple. If I remember, that's about what my application fees are in Nevada. So definitely want to consider that. It is an investment, like I said, a couple $100 to apply for all species, and you do have to buy that hunting license. The next question that we most commonly get asked about Nevada is, what is the deal with all the choices? You get 5 choices in Nevada. The other thing I always get asked is, should I use all my choices, or can I just put the one hunt that I really want as my first choice and then just call it a day and hope for the best? Use all your 5 choices. Nevada is going to take into account all 5 of your hunt choices. So what's going to happen in the draw is they're going to pull your application. They're going to look at your first choice. If all the permits have already been allocated, they'll go to your second choice, on down the line to your number 5 choice. And if all your choices have all had the permits that have already been allocated, then they're going to skip you and move to the next applicant. There is some strategy involved in how you want to stagger your choices. So if you're the first guy that they pull off the pile, you want to make sure that your first choice is a really, really good hunt. So typically I'm talking about hunts that have extremely low odds, but really high trophy potential. So you definitely want to look at that. As your 5th choice, maybe you want to put a hunt that has better odds, that's kind of close to what you've got in bonus points, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But you might want to put a hunt that has better odds that you would still like to have if you drew that permit. So include 5 choices. You're going to maximize your chance of drawing a permit if you include all 5 choices. So make sure that you include them. And that's the deal with those 5 choices. It's kind of complex. We get a ton of questions every year about that, but make sure you include them. Make sure you stagger them. Lowest odds, best hunt. Best odds, least trophy potential that you're willing to live with. What is a bonus point? So Nevada is a bonus point state for all species. So they're going to give you a bonus point if you apply and you are unsuccessful in the draw. Every year that you acquire a bonus point for any given application, it's going to increase your odds of drawing for that species the next year. So Nevada's bonus point system, they actually square your bonus points. So again, statistically, the more bonus points you have, the better odds. It is a random draw. So you could draw a really great permit with no points. Chances are low, obviously, and the more points you have, the better your chances, because they are going to square those. So that's the deal. It's a bonus point state. It's also a random state. So you want to take that into consideration when you apply. We get a lot of questions about group applications. Are they allowed in Nevada? And they are for a couple of species, for mule deer and also for cow elk, if you're interested in applying for cow elk. But it really kind of boils down to just mule deer. They're going to take the applicants on the application and average those points, and that's how they'll go into the draw. So they are allowed for mule deer and cow elk, It's an averaged total for the applicants on the app. The last thing, should I apply in Nevada? And I get asked this all the time. Is Nevada worth it? Because it is investment. Like I said, you're going to be into that definitely $155 plus application fees for the species that you apply for. Is it worth it? Because if you look at the odds of drawing permits in Nevada, they aren't super high. If you draw an elk tag in Nevada, you're going to have a phenomenal hunt. Obviously, any sheep tag that you can put in your pocket. Nevada has awesome opportunities for sheep. They're still tough to draw, but they do offer sheep hunting for both California and desert bighorn. You can apply for both, so that's worth considering. They do have some really good deer hunting, and they do have some units, especially if you're a bow hunter, that are easier to draw. They also have some antelope opportunities that might be a little bit easier to draw. The question of whether you should apply in Nevada really kind of boils down to a economic versus opportunity debate. And for me, how I've justified applying in Nevada is that I look at the odds, I do bow hunt, and I think, you know what, if I can draw a permit to either hunt deer or antelope, you know, maybe every 3 to 7 years, I can justify the cost of that hunting license every year, which keeps me applying in hopes that someday I will also draw an elk tag, a sheep tag. So should I apply in Nevada? You really got to think about it. What type of hunter are you? What are your objectives for your hunt? Do you have the money to apply in Nevada? Because it is expensive. Like I said, the 155 plus app fees. It really comes down to a cost analysis versus the odds and the opportunity. And you definitely want to cruise your insider account to evaluate that to its fullest potential. It's not for everybody, but Nevada, like I said, should you draw a permit, really good hunting in Nevada. So overall, those are kind of the questions that we most commonly get for Nevada. You know, obviously being a Nevada-based company, we love Nevada and we think that they do an excellent job of managing their wildlife. They do provide really good hunting opportunities for those that draw permits. I would say do some research and see if it makes sense for you. Again, your insider account is going to be such a help for you to try to decide what to do in Nevada. We do have that promo running. Our annual subscription's $149. If you drop that promo that you're going to find in the description, you're going to get a deal. So check that out. Once again, Nevada, apply, don't apply. If you have a question, reach out and ask us. We'd be happy to answer that for you. Personally, my hope is that someday I get that Nevada elk tag like Chris Porter did and get a chance to hunt those giant bulls.